In this review, we're going to be taking a look at the all-new Marvel Legends series Marvel's Korg Build-A-Figure wave. This wave is for the all-new Thor Love and Thunder live-action film releasing on July 8th, 2022. So without further ado, let's take a deep dive into this lineup. What's going on, Alfonso Nation? Welcome back, one and all, to another episode of Teletraan Reviews. In this video, yes, we have the entire Thor Love and Thunder Marvel Legends series Build-A-Figure wave for Marvel's Korg, and this is exciting because I can't wait to get a look at all of these great figures. Some of these are really nice brand new figures that we've never gotten before, so this is really exciting. But before I get started, I'd like to give a shout out to the Toy Room Lafayette for sponsoring this video and providing these figures. These are incredible figures, and they did get a nice batch of the entire line. So if you are in the Louisiana Lafayette area, stop by the Toy Room. I have the address in the description box below. I have their phone number, and they also have a Facebook page and an Instagram for you to follow them and keep up with all of their latest incoming products. And if you have any questions about their store or their products, be sure to give them a call or send them a message. Alright, so here we go. Thor Love and Thunder, the beautiful wave, is finally here. These figures are really like talk of the town for a lot of the Thor Love and Thunder fans, because you get a lot of these figures. And, you know, I mean, the wave is really nice. A lot of them look really cool, and the film is really popular. So it is a total of 7 figures. Now, 6 figures in the wave. So you do have the Korg Build-A-Figure. So you got the 3 males here. You got Star-Lord, Ravager Thor, and then you have the Groot, and then you have Gorr The God Butcher, King Valkyrie, and Mighty Thor. So these 6 figures comprise of the Build-A-Figure wave from Marvel's Korg, and the center figure, the powered up, armored up Thor, does not contain a Marvel's Korg Build-A-Figure piece, but he does contain all of the armor. So he's like the most powered up version of Thor in this film. So first, let's just take a look at Groot. Groot is a great figure. You got him in a packaging there, Marvel Legends series. You got Groot there, and then you've got a bit of art for him on the side, and then you've got him on the back there. Looks great. And then you've got basically the whole lineup with Korg and all of the different figures that you are needed for Korg. And then you've got the same image on the side, and he's showcased right there in the front. And then you have the Mighty Thor, same Marvel Legends packaging. There she is. She does have the regular head, and then she has a helmet head, which is a good bonus. And you have a Korg's leg with a really big Mjolnir, and that's the one that is broken up. On the side, you got her there. That's the back. Next up, we have King Valkyrie. There she is. You got the blade, then you have a mace, which is for Korg himself, his weapon. Then you have the head sculpt for Korg, and there she got King Valkyrie, her name. That's her art on the side. That's the back. That's the other side. Then you have the Gorr The God Butcher. There he is, looking menacing and completely whitewashed like he did. That is a nice head sculpt, Christian Bale. You got his ultimate weapon, and then you have one of the Build-A-Figure pieces for Korg. Gorr, nice art of him on the side. This actually leaked before the trailer, so that was fun. And then there you got that, and then you got the other side. Next up, you got Star-Lord. There he is. He actually comes with both of his hand blasters, which is a really nice touch. Looks great with the head sculpt for Chris Pratt. You got him there. You got the arm of Korg, and you got Star-Lord. There you go, Star-Lord. Really, I'm excited to see him in this movie again. I love the Guardians. Now for the 2 Thors, you have Ravager Thor, which is a pretty popular figure. I anticipate he's going to sell quite a bit. You got him, Stormbreaker, and the arm. That's about all you get for him. Beautiful shot of Chris Hemsworth there. My goodness, love that. And even a more amazing, badass shot of Chris Hemsworth there. That is phenomenal. And that is Chris Hemsworth, Ravager Thor. And last but not least, there you go. You've got Thor Love and Thunder, Thor, armored up. You got him in his full armor with the helmet, and he does come with an additional hand. This is not a part of the Korg Build-A-Figure wave, but you do get Stormbreaker along with him. Would have been nice if he came with an additional head without the helmet, but that's what you get. And nice image of him there, fully armored up, and there he is there, fully armored up. And here they are, finally, all out of the packaging with all of their lovely accessories. And I gotta say, this is just such a really clean Marvel Legends wave. These characters are so nice, and the figures represent them so well. I have very little complaints in terms of the display presence of all of these characters for the price that you pay. So Valkyrie has a beautiful paint. You got the black and the white. You got a nice jet black finish on the legs. It's like a really slippery finish overall. You got some sculpting here on the hands, on the arms, and she does come with her blade. That is her main accessory. She's got the hair going down, and it looks pretty nice on her. She's got the long hair. Now, you got some strings that are loose like this, and you have basically the entire hair piece. That's all one piece, but it does look very nice. The head sculpt is really nice. That's one of the most accurate ones in this wave, in my view. It really comes across nicely in person, and she died. I really like that, and I do like the logo on the chest. They all have pretty much the same articulation as every Marvel Legends figure, and so the only thing that I'm gonna go over is what will obstruct the articulation. So for her, because the hair kind of comes down over the cape, it prevents her from looking up. So they have the same articulation as every other character, but the hair here kind of prevents looking up because it kind of falls onto the cape. And the legs obviously will have a little bit of obstruction going back because she does have some pieces here that are attached to her legs, and she has the cape. And now coming to Gorr the God Butcher himself, the main villain. This guy actually looks really spooky. I like the overall figure design for him. This is a closer look at Gorr. Love the sword. You basically have a nice sculpted sword here, his main weapon that he will be using in the film. The sword is actually kind of broken up. The sculpting is a little broken up on purpose. It kind of really gives that ancient, dark, villainous sword. You can definitely tell that this is a sword for a villain, and it really comes across nicely. Detailings, you got the circular, you got the handle, and you got the brown paint, and everything else is pretty much black. And that head sculpt, my goodness, there you have the Christian Bale sculpt. You got really nice veins on the head, and just a lot of etchings and a lot of engravings. I'm gonna try to get it to, there we go. And there, I mean, this is just really nice. You've even got some darker eye shadowing. The darker shadow, that's not actually shadow from the light, that's actually painted in, and you get the eyes, the nose, and the whole figure pretty much isn't really painted that much. You do have the engravings or the little etchings on his arm and shoulders, and those are lined with a little bit of paint. Some dirtying on the bottom of his robe here, so you got a little bit of frayed up pieces at the edge of his robe, and then you've got some lightly brushed dirt in there. There is a slit on the side of his robe on both sides, so if you want to pick the legs up and move the legs around, you can do that around the robe. So it does obstruct the front and back motion for the articulation, but the side to side is not that much of an issue, and the same goes for this side as well. His cape is removable, so you can just pick it up over his head and it just comes right off. There's no actual peg. The cape is really nicely sculpted. I like that a lot. It does come across nicely, and it doesn't actually need to be pegged in because it fits there nicely. It's just a regular cape, and when you take the cape off, you can see the engravings on the back of his head. They did a lot of detail work on this guy since he's generally just an unpainted, uncolored figure, and even in the trailer we've seen a lot of the unsaturated moments that he brings to the film. So this is intentional, but they really put a lot of the focus and attention on the detailing. Next up, we have Jane Foster Lady Thor, and this is one of the nicest figures in this lineup in terms of the paint, and also one of the nicest values that you get for the same price of a Marvel Legends figure, because this girl comes with quite a bit. So you have a really nice head sculpt of Natalie Portman there. Looks gorgeous. I do like the head sculpt. it does have a resemblance. It comes across nicely in person. For her, she does come with the broken Mjolnir. It is cracked. You can definitely see the cracked details in Mjolnir. You would probably have to do some black washing or some type of enhancement for the cracks, because it's not really easily visible. I wish they would have like put some darkened colors in the cracks so it kind of pops out more. But this is a massive Mjolnir. This is one of the biggest ones I've ever seen in Marvel Legends. I mean, compared to the one that comes with the other figures, especially in the Infinity Saga lineup, it is really, really big, and I'm going to kind of compare the weapons in a minute. She's got nice armor, she has like a skirt area, she's got detailings and applications of paint on the chest armor, and then she's got some of the arm guards and hand guards. She's got kind of the black pants going with like some of the silver, and the painting is pretty consistent throughout. This cape here actually is really, really easily movable. It's not one of those firm capes. It's still rubber, so you obviously it'll still kind of like return to its original position, but it's not too hard. One complaint I will have for Lady Thor, honestly, this thing is the hardest in my experience to pose. It's just something with the legs. I guess she's top heavy with all of this extra stuff up here. It's just not really balancing well on the legs and the feet. The feet has the same amount of articulation as the regular Marvel Legends, but it's just not, for me, it's not really working well with dynamic poses, like, you know, battle stances, and even standing up straight. Sometimes she just won't do it, and you have to like play with her and to kind of maneuver things to get it. And if you want it to look realistic and not like she's leaning forward too much or she's leaning back too much, you have that to worry about. But like I said, she does come with a great value, because you get Mjolnir, you get the regular head, and you also get an extra head, which is something you don't get in a lot of these. Actually, I don't think you get them in any of these. Interesting change of pace, because you also get a Build-A-Figure with this same figure as well. So you get a lot in this package, and I guess it's because they want to sell it or something. But this is the armored head, and so you got her with her helmet, and you got the logo there, you got the hair kind of flowing in the front, and then it kind of falls out the back, and it looks decent. I'll go ahead and remove it, since she's the only one that actually has the head. I'll go ahead and remove it there, and just kind of show you what she looks like real quick with that battle mask. And there you have it, Lady Thor rocking her battle mask. And honestly, I gotta say, I'm not too much of a fan of it. It doesn't really translate well in figure form. It looked really good in the movie, but for me, I guess it just kind of, it takes away from kind of everything from me. I mean, it looks good armored up, and it does match with the overall outfit, but I just don't know if I like how it looks. Personally, I would go ahead and prefer to stick with the regular head that they packaged her with, interestingly, because I feel like this just works a lot better for her. And now for the fully armored Thor himself. This one I have a love-hate relationship with because of the helmet. I think the helmet really is just wildly excessive, just the helmet design in general. And I know that this is basically just mimicking after the film. You know, the film, he has this obnoxious helmet. That's kind of how it is. But this is him fully armored up, and I actually really love the classic Thor kind of design that they're going for this film. And in the figure form, you do kind of see a difference in the way that it's presented. Obviously, you have the same colors. You got the gold, the blue, the black, silver. It kind of all just like resonates well, and he really looks nice armored up. I love the armor, and I love how it looks in general, and I love the color scheme. It's a beautiful color scheme. It just screams like royal, king, Asgardian, you know, throne. It just screams just regal. And I love the engravings on the legs, and everything looks great. It doesn't really 100% reflect what we've seen in the movie. Obviously, he was a lot shinier, and it glistened, and the armor kind of really stood out in terms of its finish. This is kind of like a more, not really a matte, but like an attempt to be a metallic finish, but not really completely completing it. He has the helmet there, and his eyes are not really aligned. Like, you have an eye where you see more of, and then this eye is kind of like smushed towards the nose, so it's not really like aligned symmetrically. And I even checked other Thor figures, and it does kind of appear the same, so that does kind of bother me. It already adds to this head sculpt that I'm not a big fan of, but you got his beautiful hair just like poking out of the helmet. It is gorgeous, and I do like the cape. It reminds me of Jane Foster's cape, but it's, you know, with the same kind of rubber. It does return back to its original position. And this is the Stormbreaker that he comes with, so it's a really nice weapon. I'm a big fan of Stormbreaker, and this is basically what it looks like. It translates pretty well. I mean, the Stormbreaker is, it's a smaller Stormbreaker from the previous versions we've got, but you have the silver applications. It's more silver all around. It is just really, really bendy. I mean, this is like ridiculously bendy. This is like really thin rubber in this area, and it thickens out at the bottom and the top, but the handle, which to me is the most important part for stability and for him to handle it, it's really wonky and floppy. I'm not a fan of this Stormbreaker. And he does come with an additional hand, which is essentially just a fist. Next up, we got Star-Lord. I'm a big fan of this guy. Love me some Star-Lord, and this guy looks awesome. I'm a big fan of this guy. I love this figure and this character, and I just love how well it really does translate in figure form. This is awesome. Now, I will say, for me, this is just my personal view in person. The head sculpt looks like Chris Pratt in some angles. In other angles, not so much. It doesn't really completely look like him. Like, you know, from the side, this does look like him a little bit. When he's looking down, or if you look at it from this angle, that looks like him. Straight ahead, I kind of, you know, it's just kind of like a hit and miss depending on the angle that you display him in. That's just what I see, but the figure is awesome, and he does come with his classic Star-Lord blasters, and it is really nice. They both are handheld, and I just kind of pegged them in, but they even have some nice painting on them, some little golden paint there. He doesn't really have an issue holding it. Turning to the back, nice robe, love that. And you've got detailings all in there, all of that beautiful Guardian of the Galaxy vibes. I love the blue stripe here on the coat here. Love the little zippers painted gold, and the gray little pieces on his little sash there. And this is actually a separate piece, which is, I just find like a cool detail, you know, so it kind of helps with the articulation. I think the robe is removable. It appears to be. I haven't tried, but it looks like you would have to remove the sash first, and then you would have to try to take the robe off. But I believe it is possible to remove the robe, since it's not necessarily pegged in or, you know, a part of his actual mode. So this is a great figure. This is one of my favorite figures from the line, and it looks terrific next to any of the Thors that you choose to get. Next up, you have I Am Groot. Beautiful Groot. This is a great Groot. He's one of the best ones they put out. This is a nice Marvel Legends Groot, and they really gave a lot of attention to detail for a lot of his engravings and all of the little plant paint applications. And he does come with the giant blaster here, and the blaster is pretty much a nicely sculpted piece. Not really too many paint applications. Actually, it's unpainted the entire way, but most of the actual display presence goes into the sculpting, which is awesome. But turning to Groot himself, man, this is a cool little Groot, man. I really like this and how it looks. This is awesome. And I actually was afraid that, you know, because he was almost 100% rubber, that he wouldn't really pose well. But I was wrong. It was more difficult to pose Jane Foster than it was Groot. And that's thanks to these foot pieces. These thing has nice ankle tilts and swivels, but it's a nice, it's still a rubber piece, I think, but it's a more hardened rubber piece, so it's really sturdy. These things really help stabilize him, and because he's not really top heavy, with the exception of his blaster, it's not too difficult to pose him. But he looks great, and I love the attention to detail with the plant. You got this little plant piece here and this plant piece here, and it's really nicely sculpted. This guy is terrific. All the little green paint apps that you have on him for the plants translates nicely. And he actually comes with more than just his blaster, because he comes with these additional hands. So this is kind of like his tree branch extension hands to kind of launch attacks or to fight, to combat. and they look really nice. I mean, they got all kinds of plant pieces sticking out of them. Like, this is just awesome, man. I gotta try it out. I'm gonna take it out here, and I'm just gonna kind of do one of these here to show it off. Like, that just looks really cool. The fact that they added that, and they didn't have to, is really awesome. So he gets his blaster, he gets these extended arms with the tree branches, which I just think that just looks so freaking cool. That is pure Groot goodness. And he does actually come with a regular hand as well. So this is actually the hand that you use to hold the weapon. I had him holding it with this, and it kind of works, but it's really just his regular hand. But this is meant for the blaster. But man, if you don't want to display the blaster and you just want to have him with his tree branching extension hands, this is just awesome. This is a good value for Groot, especially if you're a fan of Groot. And lastly, I gotta say, my favorite of the line, apart from the Build-A-Figure, this is Ravager Thor. I had to save him for last because I'm a big fan of how he looks out of the packaging. It's one thing to see it on video, it's one thing to see it in packaging, it's another thing to take him out and get a glance at how this guy looks in person. And this is probably my favorite of the lineup, simply because it is a very unique take on Thor. He's basically wearing casual clothes. He basically has the wife beater beneath. You got the jacket, you got the jeans, the boots with the straps, and the regular head sculpt. That's exactly what I wanted on this guy, but instead we get him on Ravager Thor. This is likely a take on him in his casual clothes, kind of in his retirement phase, before, you know, he is encountered with Gorr The God Butcher, just my guess. And his Stormbreaker is a little different from what I've seen from this Thor here, and I'm going to kind of go over that, but this Stormbreaker actually, for some reason, just looks a little bit better and feels a little bit better. You've got some nice paint apps here, the silver, and you've got some darker pieces of silver here in the middle section here, and even on this back section. So you've got some little darker accents. It's as opposed to where this one, it's all silver. It's kind of like a little bit of contrast, I guess, to give it some weathering. It looks great, and I think I prefer this. It is still really bendy. It's still got that weak, you know, midsection with the rubber, but I'm still a fan of how it looks, and I'm glad this guy actually comes with Stormbreaker. I just really, really love that head sculpt. That is pure Chris Hemsworth. I love the jawline. I love the eyes. You even have the scar going down the head. I don't know if you can see it easily on camera, but it's really nice. He's got that stoic, you know, that stoic stare. Looks great. I love the chest line. I love the little vein. You even got veins kind of on the chest. Oh, that is amazing. I love the shoulder. You got the bicep. All of the different detailings in the arms. You got the God Bod, man. I love the forearm. I love the biceps and the triceps. That is just awesome. In the back of the jacket, you got some detailings. Nice detailings on this leather piece, which kind of resembles the Star-Lord jacket. Might be one of his that he just kind of cut the sleeves off of, because, I mean, look at these biceps. My goodness. I love the masculine energy that this figure gives off. It's really nice, and I love the jeans. Jeans got nice engraving on nose, and you got back pockets. You've got the straps kind of painted in like a yellow, like a sort of like a worn yellow, and then you got the black boots. But this figure is freaking amazing. It's just really nice. I love him with Stormbreaker and those exposed arms. That is just freaking awesome. And these are the differences in the Stormbreakers that I wanted to show off. This one goes with Ravager, this one goes with fully armored Thor, and you can definitely see that there's a little bit of difference in the paint. In terms of the size, they are the same. Looks like they're the same size. But like I said before, both of these are inferior in comparison to the Stormbreaker that you get with the Infinity War Thor. This is so much better. I mean, the detailings here, it's way much sturdier. This is a Stormbreaker that you can be proud of. And I'm not a big fan of how they did with these, the Love and Thunder Wave, but this is kind of my favorite. And also to compare the Mjolnir in the in-game Steve Rogers compared to the one that you get with the Jane Foster Thor. it is literally totally different. I mean, this is literally the size difference. It's just huge. I don't really know why, but I like the different silver paint apps on the handle and at the base. But man, I mean, it's just massive. And last but certainly not least, the figure that you are able to build when you collect every single applicable figure in this lineup, that is Korg. Man, this is nice. This is the Build-A-Figure Korg. First of all, Korg is one of my favorites in the Thor universe. I just love him as a side character. He's so hilarious, and this figure is amazing. I gotta tell you, this figure comes off so nice. I did not expect it to look that good. I mean, everything about this guy, it's really just the armor on Korg that really brings him out. You've got the beautiful rocky structure on his entire body, the feathered pads on the shoulders, you got the cross-section leather, you got the bicep, and I love how it's not symmetrical everywhere, you know? You got the one bicep arm piece there, and then you got just kind of an empty one there. That's just a nice attention to detail. You got the beautiful gold emblem there. You got the leather waistband with the gold pieces. You got the silver little pieces on the waistband. You got the little patches of blue and red all on the pants section. And then you got the exposed feet knee pads. Like, what? I mean, compared to the Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness Marvel Legends line, the Build-A-Figure wave for Rentra, this thing absolutely destroys it. This wave destroys that wave, in my view. I just think that the overall Build-A-Figure that you get in the end is just such a nicer display, and you do get his mace. So he does come with a weapon, as opposed to, like I said, with Rentra. Obviously, that character did not use a weapon in the film or do anything at all, but we do have a weapon for Korg. So you don't just get the figure, but you get some type of accessory for it. But you've got the little spikes coming out, and you can just peg it right into his hand. He doesn't come with any additional hands or any additional head, but I mean, when you look at this guy, I don't think it really needs much. This is Korg from Thor Love and Thunder, and I gotta say, this guy is absolutely stellar. This is one of my favorite Build-A-Figures that they've done in a very long time. And honestly, I mean, with the rest of the team that you get, I kinda gotta say it's worth it for this one. I mean, this one's worth it. And that's pretty much it for this review. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe for more Marvel and Transformers content. And yes, once again, big shout out to the Toy Room Lafayette for sponsoring the video. This is a radical Marvel Legends wave. I'm a big fan of the aesthetic and display presence these guys give off. And as you can see, you can really go crazy with some pretty movie accurate display poses. So that's pretty much it. I would grant this entire wave of Marvel Legends figures a 10 out of 10. I really think they did a stellar job. Obviously, with the build quality for some of these figures could be a lot better, and the handling, but I mean, for the price that you pay for each individual figure, I think it's a really good value. And these characters are so beloved and fun, and you even have some that are new and some that are returning. So it's just a really nice change of pace, and I love how you have two different options for Thor. My only gripe is that, you know, I don't like that we didn't get any lightning effects for any of the Stormbreakers, for any of the characters whatsoever. Would have been nice to have some lightning effects. These are obviously effects from different Marvel Legends figures in the past, but as you can see, it looks so much better with the lightning. That's the one thing I feel like they missed, but apart from that, I think this was a home run. Don't forget to leave a like in this video and comment below what is your favorite figure from this wave, or what are you most excited for in the actual film. And thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one.